Well, all right, everyone. We got the TF2 back out for the first run on the new adventure course here. Since the last video, everyone, I had a set of 2.2 RC four-wheel drive mudslinger tires on this truck. She was sitting up pretty tall, and I had just previously lowered it. Just lowered it again this time, but just lowered the body on it. I made my own body lift with this truck initially from day one. Went ahead and lowered my screw holes on this to get the body down as low as I possibly could, and put on a set of Proline 1.9 Hyrax tires. And the body right now is about as low as it can possibly be without the tires actually rubbing. So there is full swing on our suspension, and we're getting pretty close to the fender, but not close enough to rub. So just enough clearance to do those 1.9s. We still have 100mm shocks on all four corners, so the suspension hasn't changed, just lowered the body down a little bit and put on some smaller tires. So we'll go ahead, run the course with the TF2 and see how she does with the Hyraxes on it. You have to bear with me, everyone, on this video. New course is not 100% complete. It is 100% up and running, just not 100% complete. We have a couple of blank spots or void spots on the tracks that needs some obstacles or needs some kind of filler to go in there. So the track is 100% up and running, just not 100% complete. Like I said, few more obstacles to come into play. Right here we've got a big dirt mound. There's going to be an obstacle there. We just have the dirt mound there for the time being. Same over on this side. We got a gigantic dirt hill. Don't know if we're going to leave that or not, or put an obstacle in there as well. Same with our entrance going onto the course. Our entrance is right between these two lights, the farthest out lights that we can see there. That is our entrance way onto the course. We will be coming in through the podium up to our first hill, following this rocky path around to the left in front of the big hill here, and then that rocky path needs to be continued over to the course there between those two lights, which will be the actual entrance to our new trail. Once again, new trail is just a trail. It's just a spot where you can go stretch your legs with your vehicle and go have fun. It's supposed to trying to copy Mother Nature there and make a more natural course for the vehicles. We've got our main proving grounds on the one side, so if we want to do tire testing, you want a suspension flex test or whatever, perfect for this course. New course, once again, just more of a natural trail. And I'll be building another course here in the future, totally different obstacle course, but will be full obstacle course, and that'll be backed by that old tractor. And once again, that is going to be using part of the original course too. So the next new course will also cross the old course and go back to where it's at. So another third course will be coming here soon. So let's get this party started, everyone. We'll get the TF2 out and see what she can do. Making our approach onto the new course, crossing through the podium and over onto this rock road. We'll follow this path around, making our way around the path here. Once again, gravel road is missing between this section here. It needs to be filled in the rest of the way as we make our way across the original course, heading over to the new one. And then this would be the entrance onto the new course, where we could either go right or go left. And this time we'll just go left for the first run. Once again, trying to keep this new course relatively natural, using whatever obstacles Mother Nature provides, such as tree roots. Now, coming off of these tree roots, this is another section that's not quite complete yet. I need to go out on a rock hunt and get some more cobblestone and small boulders so we can complete this road leading up to the path here. Making our approach onto the first rock road on the new trail. All downhill here. No rhyme or reason with the rocks. Trying to keep it random. Here those Hyraxes grabbing some traction there. Oh, TF2 is looking a little tippy there. Another reason for lowering that suspension down a little bit more, well, not necessarily the suspension, but lowering the body down a little bit more, trying to get that center of gravity down farther so she's more crawl friendly. As we come off this rock path here, we're going to be hitting our first real intersection on the old course. So the first real crossing of the old course right here. All downhill, slightly off cambered, pitching towards the over under rock bridge or brick bridge down there. Sorry about the sun and shade, everyone. Oh, so we have our back axle snag back there on that rock. TF2 blues, no portals. And crossing over the original course again, a little bit of a tight turn here, especially for the TF2. A lot of spots on this course are relatively tight. Not too bad with the TRX4s, but definitely some backing up and readjusting is required for the TF2. We're getting ready to make our approach to the next rock hill here, which is this guy. We'll be intersecting the course once again, the old course. Make our way up this hill, testing out the old high racks along the way. Once again, I apologize for sun and shade and whatnot, everyone. Back in the woods, a lot of tree canopy up above. Oh, TF2's getting pretty straight up and down there. Seems to be doing pretty good so far. We work our way up the course, crossing over the original. Here's a quick peek down what we just climbed up there. So all uphill leading up to this next trail crossing. And we're going to be all downhill from here. So we have to navigate our way down through here and around this tree, side skating this brick hill. Let's slowly make our approach. Ooh, hopefully we don't roll the old Tifty over. Starting to make our little line here next to this tree, trying to keep it as tight to the tree as possible as we make our descent. So backing up and adjusting is definitely required with the trail finder. Once again, a stronger steering servo would definitely help out in this situation. Not having enough power to turn the wheels on a dead dig currently. Now we're getting ready to cross over the original course again, crossing over the rumble strip area and across the tie wall on the other side, and then we're going to be making a left up the bridge. Climbing over the tie wall. Here's our hard left turn up the bridge, which once again can get pretty tricky with the Tippy TF2. She is getting really close to that edge, wanting to fall off the bridge. Just can't cut quite hard enough. And working our way up the logs. Now I will say this, the old Hyraxes are definitely doing better on the logs than those mudslingers. Definitely easier making it up with the 1.9 Hyraxes. So coming up the bridge here, we're going to be making a hard left and heading up our new bridge over here on the other side, which takes us back into the woods, connecting us up to the new trail. All uphill and a slight off camber to the right where the truck is currently sitting. Once again, I apologize for the shade, everyone. Yeah, a little bit of an off camber there as you're making your way up the bridge. All uphill. And the logs, of course, are all random, so they vary as far as obstacles go. Each one is kind of their own little obstacle of sorts, their own unique shape. Making our way back down the backside. Try not to let that slop overtake the vehicle on the way back down. Making our way off the bridge and into another little rooty section here as we circle around this big old maple tree. Coming out from around our maple, crossing over another old tree root there, and winding our way up this hill. So far on this hill, everyone, all we have is just a couple of little stair steps working our way back up. So more obstacles to come soon. Just need to figure something out for this area. Once again, trying to keep it natural, but yet challenging. And there was definitely no challenge on that last little hill section. This is basically the direction we're headed here, up this cobblestone path and climbing up and over these tree roots. This pitch is at a couple different angles, obviously pitching downhill, but also pitching to the left. So it's going downhill and it's going to the left. Gives you a couple different angles as we climb up in between these two tree stumps here. I'll turn my flash on, hopefully that works. Try to eliminate some of the shady spots here, everyone. You see the truck is definitely leaning on the passenger side as we're making our way around, making our approach. So you can see a little bit of that angle there. And there we go. Coming out from the other side into some more rocks here. As we circle around this old birch stump and through its root system. Yeah, this old girl definitely has a pretty healthy root system that we're four-wheeling through here. More readjusting. Once again, natural trail, so I'd imagine you would be doing that if you were four-wheeling down a natural trail as well. Not everything is laid out perfectly. We're making our way out of the tree root section here. Coming up to our next hill. Now this hill, we could take this from either side. We could move up it on the left-hand side over there, which is relatively easy. Mainly just a bunch of tree roots that are natural, embedded in the ground, so great traction on that side if it happens to be raining or a little bit muddy out here. This is the other side that we can run up. So we'll be going up this hill, navigating over these tree roots. So this is actually the route that we're going to be taking as we finish our circle around the old dead birch tree. Now this one I've learned it's a lot easier if you put your passenger side tire right on this tree root here and just sort of follow it up the hill. Definitely makes life a little bit easier for the vehicles as you're trying to navigate this hill. That way you're not just trying to climb over that next horizontal tree root. Makes life just a little bit easier for getting over top of that. Making our way up and over the top. Now this is an area back here, if you just roll over a blind, very easy to roll a truck over in this spot, especially the Trail Finder 2, once again being very top heavy and tippy. Currently working on it, everyone, trying to lighten this vehicle up. Single speed transmission is going to be in the future, so I'll be eliminating a shift servo and be able to shuffle some electronics around inside and get that body a little bit lower down. Making our way off of this hillside and going to be navigating our peat bog section here, which is probably dried out by now. Currently getting some water here. Scavenging some rainwater. Made a little collection barrel here just so I can add water to the course. Relatively easy without bringing it up here by the bucket load from the tap. So put a little makeshift gutter on the back of our woodshed here and refurbished this 55-gallon drum. Used a little bit of shoe goo and a metal window screen and glued up a nice little screen on top to keep all the debris out of it. And voila, water for our track, or water for our mud bog section. Now, this is something that we needed for a long time, everybody, and that was a muddy section for the course. Ground up here, guys and gals, is just so sandy that even when it pours rain and get inches of rain, it just runs right off or soaks into the ground. It just disappears in a matter of minutes. So very hard to come up with a mud section for the course. So what I basically did, everyone, in this area in particular, just one area on the course, I dug this all out, or my brother actually dug this all out, 8 to 10 inches deep across here, anywhere from 16 to 20 inches wide across the from side to side, and roughly 12 feet long, every bit of 12 feet long, and just filled this up with a compost type material that we scraped out of the woods back on a low spot where a trail drops into a low spot, and got all this compost type peat mossish kind of material here, all this dark dirt. And that is the makings for our mud bog. Unfortunately, I've been testing this and messing around with it, and you can put about 10 or 15 gallons of water in here, mix it up with a garden hoe, and it will get super nasty. I mean, super nasty, gooey, sloppy, almost like wet concrete through here. And once again, being 8 to 10 inches thick through here, it can get pretty gooey. But the only problem with that is underneath of this is just sand. Once again, nothing but sand underneath it. So within about a half hour or 45 minutes, all that moisture is gone, and it goes back to what we're looking at right here, which is kind of this clumpy dirt. You know, so it clumps up, you know, and that's about it. You can tell that it has lots of moisture in it. It's just not so muddy. Once again, it doesn't take it very long at all for that moisture just to run out of the dirt, and it just turns back into what it is. So when we do a mud bog section out here, or do a mud bog on the video, we have to act fast. We have to put the water in the hole, stir it all up, and then immediately get to running on it, or else it's just going to dry out in a matter of minutes. Now I've just gone ahead and dumped 10 gallons of water in here in this little muddy section from front to back, and starting to stir it up here. You can see we're starting to get into some concrete type material, almost like mortar for laying brick. And that's what this whole trench is starting to look like. And once again, 8 to 10 inches deep of this slop. So you know, I didn't have much use for a set of tracks as tracks before, but after watching my friend Ben Brubaker's videos running his T-Rex 4s through the mud, the tracks are definitely superior in the mud. Might need a set just to navigate this little mud section here. Now, the mud section is where we're headed to next, everyone. Just previously here at the beginning of the video, I had dumped 10 gallons of water into this mud, and I had stirred it all up and mixed it up and got it nice and sloppy, and now it's already dried out. I went ahead and shaped it into some mounds with a garden hoe just to do something with it since I'm just about out of water in my barrel, so I really can't add any more water to it. So we'll go ahead and hit it and see what she's like. Like I said, gonna have to probably take all this dirt out of here and line this trench with some clay, and then throw all this dirt back in here. Nothing but sand underneath, so anytime we add water to it, it just drains right out and has no opportunity to hold the moisture. Continuing on down the hill at a high rate of speed, heading into our peat bog hills, I guess we'll call them, some peat hills. Test out these hyraxes and see how they do navigating these compost mounds. It would definitely be a mess if it was a little bit more gooey. You can obviously see that there is moisture on the tires as we're rolling through this mess of stuff here. Yeah, not very muddy, so I guess a failed attempt for a mud bog, and we're going to have to get on that and perfect that pit. Now, making our way out of that mud section, we're kind of coming into another area on the track which is kind of vacant. Really need to do something here. We are on a little bit of a hill as we make this turn. Just not much for an obstacles through here as of yet. We just have this sort of trenched out, but nothing really laid out as far as obstacles or things of that nature go. Basically, right at the moment, it's just a rough road to travel on. A very tough angle for the TF2 to make it around. A little bit tight. Still making our way around the corner and heading over towards our over-under rock bridge, aka Bedrock Bridge. Navigating our way through all of this soft sand material. Heading into the rock bridge. Making our way out of the bridge there. Heading towards our next obstacle, which is a steep downhill into a valley. And then back up another hill. Very tough filming angles here as we drop down into this valley. Start making our way up this next side, which once again is just a part-time obstacle until we get our main obstacle in place. And it looks like we're getting stuck there with the Hyraxes. Got some hole digging going on there. Old Hyrax is having trouble finding some traction in that spot. Just a sand hill, not very difficult, but the sand here, everyone, it just rained the other day, so it is very moist and is definitely, excuse the shadow, it's definitely loading up the tires, as you can see. And it can be just as much of a nightmare when the sand is dry as well, just super loose. Let's go from one extreme to the next. We might have to bust out the winch on this one. Keep backing further down and keep losing our footing here. And throttle's not getting it done, especially with that 65 turn motor. Not much throttle to be had out of that baby. Well, I think we just found our limit on the old Hyraxes. They work great on rocks, but not so good. Not so good for this stuff here. So just like in real life, everyone, we're going to have to use our winch to get us out of this. Winch is up and running. And looks like it's getting us up to the top of the hill without a problem. I think we can drive away from here. Alright, continuing our way along after being helped out with the old horn winch. Gotta love the winch. Would love to put a winch like that on the front of my TRX4 Bronco, but just such a huge beast of a winch. It's going to eat up way too much real estate on the front of that old Bronco. So this other section of the course that we're on currently is a little bit of another dead zone here that we need to work on with some obstacles as we're rolling over towards our crashed alien spaceship, which has been here for millions of years, and we're just going ahead and using it as part of our crawler course. Another area right here that I'm currently in the center of the spaceship is a area that I would like to put in a pond liner and some more gravel or rock and make another little water feature right here. Making our way out of the spaceship and on up the path. Quick look at our spacecraft there. Didn't mean to build that, everyone. We had a giant dirt pile right here where we take all our scrap dirt from building the track, and we had this little low spot right here. Initially we were just going to make a wall along that edge and a wall along this edge, and as we started doing that, this shape just started to take form. So I just went ahead and ran with it. So basically just a little tribute to one of my favorite movies. Making our way up the hill after exiting the spacecraft. We have a couple little dirt shelves to climb up here before we shoot between a couple pine trees. You got to keep in mind, everyone, once again, trying to keep this natural and not so much of an obstacle course, but more of a natural trail. And it's just really tough to copy Mother Nature. Definitely a hard act to follow. Getting into some sand here, a little bit loose. See, the recent rain really hasn't affected that too much. Here that are just soaked in and dissipated too fast for it to really even make a dent. Now we're rolling into a pit here, and as we come out of this pit, we are going to be approaching what I call a storm damage road. I try to copy Mother Nature once again with some storm damage and some fallen down trees. No rhyme or reason with this section here, everyone. This is about a 7-foot section of trail going through here. And believe it or not, feel free to count the logs if you don't believe me. There is close to 96 logs in this area. Right around 96 logs in a 7-foot span, all kind of staggered and planted in on different directions. just to try to emulate or simulate some storm damage. So definitely no rhyme or reason for these logs, and you really have to pick your route as you're going through here. Not exactly a path that you can just pull into and drive through without having any problems. Definitely have to pick your route going through this section. Old squeaky TF2 making her way through. Slipping and sliding along the way. A lot of these logs are sitting on some serious off-cambers. Yeah, this can definitely be a tough little section to navigate through here as we're making our way off of the logs and heading over towards the rock bridge. And nothing too scary about our approach on the rock bridge from this side anyways. If we were coming back the other way, it would definitely be a little bit more challenging. Once again, relatively flat coming in on this section of the bridge. Nothing really too challenging. I like to make my own little challenges as I'm coming into the side. Once again, trying to copy Mother Nature and whatnot. Not everything is steep and gnarly. The other side of the bridge is definitely more of a challenge, especially when you're coming uphill. Still on our approach to the rock bridge. Making our way across the main slab. Back down the other side. The other side here, everyone, now this is the side that offers challenges. If you were going the opposite way around the course, it would definitely be more challenging going up this side of the rock bridge. We've got all kinds of little nooks and crannies and different trails you can take on the way back up the other side of the bridge. Like I said, definitely going up this way is the more challenging side of the trail. Basically, the hardest part about the trail finder going through this portion is the descent and trying to take this nice and slow without flipping the truck over as we navigate our way off of the bridge here. A lot of big drops coming back down this side. Right now we're dropping into a little groove in between some rocks. See that front tire has completely disappeared. Trying to go nice and slow here, but she's got a lot of roll in the transmission, a lot of slop in that transmission. And we're off the bridge. Coming down off of the bridge and navigating our way around some shrubs here, or some scrub brush, some trees. Just skating past that marker light, back onto the trail. Nothing too special here on this section. Once again, just navigating some tree roots as we round the corner. Running between these little hemlock trees that are sprouted up. Making our way along to our next storm damage section of trail. We're going a little off course here with the TF2. Once again, trail's a little bit too narrow for the old trail finder. Making our approach onto the next storm damage section of trail. Not quite as gnarly as the last one. This was actually the first storm damage section that I had built on the course, on this particular half. No rhyme or reason with these logs, just plant them in the ground and backfill them with some dirt. Yeah, once again, kind of tight. And that weak steering servo not doing us any justice by not being able to turn those tires on a dead dig. New servo definitely in the future for the old trail finder. Once more, nothing too special on this area. Navigating tree roots and tight corners as we make our way around the course. Some more dead sections on the track right up here. Another big flat area that needs to be addressed and come up with some obstacles for this area. This area is just basically a relatively flat section of road, which once again, if you were actually driving your truck down a real trail, I'm sure you would be coming across this. Flat sections where there's really absolutely nothing going on, although it drives me nuts. So I'm gonna have to come up with an obstacle for this area pretty soon here. See that Mother Nature's already taken over with some clover filling in on our track. We're coming into another low spot and working our way up another big dirt hill on this side, which could be hit and miss. Depends on how the dirt is. When it's dry, it can be pretty slick. I've seen the Scout have a hard time climbing up this hill when it's dry. It just gets really, really loose. Yeah, nothing very eventful with this obstacle. Definitely a lot of backing up required with the trail finder on this trail. Not so bad with the Broncos. Still have to back up occasionally, but it's not as bad as it is with the TF2. Rounding one of our last tree root obstacles as we make our way back towards the entrance. And backing up again to do some readjusting with the old TF2. She just doesn't turn too tight, poor old girl. I certainly do love this truck though. Here we are making our way through the last little section and back out of the course after making some adjustments. And that is pretty much going to do it, everyone. That was the first run on the new adventure course with the Trail Finder 2. Once again, please keep in mind, new adventure course, just meant to be more of a trail, just a place where you can go out and have some fun and stretch your legs and not have to worry about tweaking your truck while navigating obstacles. We still have the old original Proving Grounds course over there, looking pretty. And we'll be building another adventure course of a totally different style and nature, more of an obstacle course on the far side of our track here, connecting up to the original and extending off towards that old tractor that is sitting down there in that clearing. So more stuff to come, everyone. Very much appreciated for y'all sticking around and watching the video. Thanks again, and we will see you all on the next one.